I think a scene from the Toy Story series that's been ingrained in my mind for some reason is that one where Woody gets cleaned and fixed up. I think it's in the second movie. It's just so satisfying to watch, watching his boot get painted, his eyes being shined, like, it was just a true masterpiece, it really was. But Woody hasn't always been super likable if we throw it back to the first movie, and remember he tried to get rid of Buzz Lightyear out of jealousy. Not cool, dude. Not cool. What is up, you guys? Hope you're having an awesome day. I'm your host, Eamon Hassan, and welcome back to another video. Today, we are gonna reminisce Toy Story and talk about the top 10 Scary Buzz Lightyear theories. Starting us off at number 10 is the real plan. Now we all see how Buzz Lightyear has no idea what the hell is going on when Andy first gets him. He literally thinks he's landed on some alien planet with all these toys and is like, okay, I'm ready for action. Woody is threatened by him at first and tries multiple times to throw him out of the window and just sabotage him in general, but eventually the two team up and end up being good friends. But according to this theory, the Space Rangers sent Buzz to the toys to specifically wipe them out. It's ingrained in them that they're the best and most superior toy in the market, so he must eliminate all the others. So his initial mission when he's there is to gain all the toys' trust before getting rid of them, so Woody's actually right to distrust him. But then when he gets to know the toys and realizes they're actually sweet and harmless and he can't just eliminate them because it's programmed into him, he has a change of heart. And I'm glad he does. Coming in at number 9 is Andy's dad. Just to preface this one, it encompasses both Woody and Buzz, not just Buzz, before people get butthurt. Either way, I know there are two camps when it comes to Andy's dad. One side thinks he's just estranged or the parents are divorced, and the other camp believes Andy's dad passed away. A very popular fan theory on Reddit agrees with the latter camp in thinking Andy's dad died. The thread goes on to say he was a cop who most likely died in the line of duty, and that explains why Andy is super attached to two male toys, Woody and Buzz. And Andy isn't just attached because they're both male, he's attached because they both represent one kind of law enforcement or another. Woody is a cowboy sheriff patrolling the Wild West, Buzz is a space ranger keeping peace throughout the galaxy. The two toys act as authority figures in Andy's life because that role was empty. If Andy's dad was in the movie, there would have been no reason to have a doll that represents an authority figure like Buzz. So it's kind of a situation where do we want Andy's dad in the movie but no Woody and Buzz, or the opposite? Either way, I never thought of it that way, so it's actually quite interesting. Will the kids watching understand that subtext while watching it though? Probably not. It's not that deep for them. At number 8 we have training. Isn't it slightly odd how Buzz Lightyear full on acts like a toy? He knows he's a space ranger, why would he act like a toy around people? Well, according to this theory shared by our editor Octogenarian Sandwich, it was all part of Buzz's training. The special forces most likely train him to act like a local in any situation he's put in order to blend in and stay safe. That way the locals, i.e. the other toys, won't perceive him as a threat. Self-preservation, my friends, it's important. Now he had no idea that staying still wouldn't save him from being eaten or thrown out, hence he acted like a toy despite 100% knowing that he wasn't one. Filling at number 7 slot is the Illuminati. I told you there is always an Illuminati theory, mark my words, you guys. Either way, there's a very popular theory that suggests that what goes on in Toy Story 3 is an allegory to the Illuminati. Antagonist Lotsa Huggin' Bear is the head of the whole thing, which is not surprising since he basically runs Sunnyside Daycare as a dictator. When the toys get there, Lotso completely takes advantage of Buzz Lightyear and turns him into his very own personal spy. He does this by changing Buzz's settings from play to demo, essentially wiping his memory and transforming him into Lotso's henchman. The Illuminati parallel is confirmed when the Ken doll says he's made us into a pyramid and put himself on top, referring to Lotso. And if you know the Illuminati logo, then you'll know it's a pyramid with an eye at the top. Need I say more? And Buzz just gets used as a pawn in the whole thing, so poor him. Now at number 6 is the JOYSUCKER. This one is morbidly dark and I don't really know how to feel about it. Toy Story 4 director Josh Cooley put forward this theory, and although he didn't take credit for it, he did say he read a fan saying it. He shared that Buzz Lightyear isn't a toy, he's more of a vampire, and instead of living off blood, he lives off the joy of children, or in this case, Andy. As long as there are children in the world that love their toys, then Buzz Lightyear will be kept alive. Can you imagine how much fun Andy is having just playing with him, not knowing he's physically just draining his joy away from him, leaving him as just an empty vessel void of any happiness? End scene. That was pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. This also explains why Sid is such a prick to all the toys and Buzz. He's the only one that knows the truth about the joy-sucking capabilities that they have. Coming in at number 5 is The Walking Dead. I love The Walking Dead. I've said this numerous times in previous videos, but I'm not fully caught up yet, so do not post spoilers in the comments or I actually will come for you. And don't test me, you guys already know I'll do it. You already know. Either way, YouTuber John Ray made a 6-minute video explaining that the Toy Story trilogy, excluding the 4th movie, is super similar to the plot of The Walking Dead. I mean, off the bat, Woody is basically Rick Grimes. They're both Western sheriffs who lead this mismatched group of people in a world where everything is either trying to tear them apart or literally chew them up. Sid's mutant toys kind of represent the walkers who are half there but half not and are just kind of doomed to walk the earth as shadows of their former selves. The only thing that really keeps Rick going is his son Carl, similarly with Woody and Andy. But Andy is too busy playing with Buzz, the ultra macho officer, as is Carl with Rick's best friend Shane. Sunnyside Daycare is the equivalent of the community of Woodbury in the show, both featuring a very psycho leader in their own right. At number 4 is Pixar versus Disney. So already, just by looking at Woody and Buzz, you can already see the major difference with Woody being more of an old-timey cowboy sheriff and Buzz being a futuristic astronaut. But that's not all that they represent. John Lasseter, a former Disney animator, got fired after suggesting the use of computer animation instead of using hand-drawn pictures. Computer animation was still super new at that time, and Disney was wary of switching from their well-loved method to something new. He then got hired by Pixar, who made computer animation a lot more mainstream, and then of course Disney and Pixar came together. Similarly, Woody is like Disney, a more traditional toy, whereas Buzz represents the new and the sometimes scary. Regardless, both toys overcome their differences in order to make Andy happy, just like Disney and Pixar coming together to make kids around the world happy. And they lived happily ever after the end. Filling at number 3 slot is The Old versus the New Part 1. Now there is another allegory with old and new in the story, and it goes back to Andy's dad. And I feel like a lot of people don't know the backstory of his dad, so I'm gonna go into it right now. Stay tuned, sit down, grab your popcorn. Now back in the 50s, Andy's dad, who's also called Andy, was from a not so well-off family. There was a contest going on to win a Woody doll from Andy's favorite TV show, Woody's Roundup, and to win it you had to send in 30 Cowboy Crunchy cereal box tops. But Andy's family couldn't afford that many, so he sent in how many he had, along with a letter explaining how hard he had tried to get them. But by then, the contest was stopped and the company started making Buzz Lightyear dolls since that was a new fad and everyone was just obsessed with going to space, because remember, it is the 60s now. Thankfully, a secretary at the company read Andy Sr.'s letter and sent him the only Woody prototype doll that was ever made. That doll was Andy's best friend and got him through the roughest of times, but sadly, he ended up contracting polio and his parents took all his toys to burn him in his garden to get rid of the spread of infection, but he managed to save them and put them to sleep in his attic. And it continues. Now at number 2 is The Old versus the New Part 2. Thankfully, Andy Sr.'s health improved and he survived polio. He went on to get married and they ended up having Andy Jr., the one in all the movies. Sadly, Andy Sr. got sick again, and since the family didn't have health insurance, paying all the medical bills was extremely expensive, so the family ended up losing their house and had to move into Andy Sr.'s childhood home with his mum. As he was dying, he called Andy into his room and told him to go to the attic and find this box. He said, there's someone in that box that's going to be your favorite deputy. He's going to be your best friend. You're going to need a friend, and I want you to have my best friend as a child. Yes, I know you're probably wondering why you're crying right now. It's completely understandable. I'll give you a minute. And since Andy looked exactly like his dad when they were the same age, when Woody finally wakes up and meets Andy Jr., he literally thinks it's the same Andy. Woody represents Andy's dad, comforting, old, and safe. However, when Buzz comes in all new and shiny, it throws Woody off because he's threatened that Andy will like Buzz more than him. Buzz Lightyear kind of represents the stepdad that Andy is afraid of coming into his mom's life and replacing his dad. That's like the biggest backstory I've ever provided. And finally, at number 1 is the Nazi. So there's a very popular theory going around claiming Toy Story 3 is sort of like an analogy to the Holocaust. Film theorist Jordan Hoffman has claimed the journey the toys go through in the movie is somewhat similar to what Holocaust victims went through, which I feel like is the biggest overstatement in the world, but let's discuss. Buzz automatically recommends hiding in the attic to all the toys, which is exactly what Anne Frank and her family did. Also, if you haven't read Anne Frank's diary, I highly suggest you do. I've read it twice now and it's actually just truly incredible. Either way, a Sunnyside daycare could represent either a concentration camp, since the kids abuse the toys, and Nazi officers abuse the Jewish victims. On the other hand, it can represent Germany, with Lotso taking the role of Hitler himself. Buzz goes from trying to help the toys stay safe to becoming brainwashed by Lotso and doing his bidding. Yet she went from being an ally to being a Nazi soldier. And again, the biggest threat the toys face is being thrown away, because then they'll just end up getting burnt alive, which some prisoners actually were. And that is it for today's video, guys. Toy Story. I actually haven't seen the fourth one, so no spoilers, please. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. As always, I'm your host, Eamon Hassan, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye. Just making sure you heard that.
Oh, I did.
Okay. I think a scene from Toy Story. No, I think a scene from the Toy Story series that's been ingrained in my mind for some. How did I start this? What the hell did I do here? I think a scene from the Toy Story series that's been ingrained in my mind. But Woody hasn't always been. But according to this theory, the Space Rangers sent Buzz to the toy. What am I saying? But according to this theory, the computer, grab your popsicle. Grab your popsicle. They had to pay a lot of medical bills, and they went. I don't know. Can you go back a bit?